Hello friends, and welcome to another reaction video. My name is Nate and I want to thank you for joining me today. Who doesn't like a good night out on the town? Whether it's your favorite watering hole, your local pub, whether you're here in the United States or in Germany or anywhere else in the world. Well, in today's video, we'll be reacting to what you need to know before heading to a proper German pub night. Now, there might be some changes or differences, right? But is it really that different between locations here in the US and in Germany in the pubs? Different rules, different etiquette? I don't know. So let's just jump in the video and find out.
Isn't it time for final orders? Apparently not.
In fact, most German pubs don't have official closing times and therefore often stay open all night. What else do you need to know when venturing out on a night in a German pub? Bottoms up, let's find out.
Okay, I'm sorry, I gotta pause it already because that reminds me of a funny story regarding myself and closing time, or as we call it here in the US, last call. It happened to be New Year's of the year 2000. So 1999 into the year 2000. My wife and I were back in my hometown in Wyoming. We had just come from Germany. I was PCSing, meaning changing duty stations at the time. And so I happened to be on leave over New Year's. Okay, little backstory. I turned 21 in Germany. So I never went to any clubs or bars or pubs here in the US before I turned 21, because that's a legal drinking age here. So I spent the first 2 years in Germany at the legal drinking age. Got used to the scene there, the nightlife, the clubs, the pubs, and very quickly realized, you can stay out. Some of the pubs closed a little early, but the clubs and things like that didn't. There was no last call. It was when it was time to go, they turned the lights on, shut the music off. That meant it was time to go. And you could take your beer with you. Usually they would put it in a plastic cup, not a glass or a bottle, but there was no end time per se. Yes, they had closing time, but it was much later. The sun was almost coming up. So I was used to that scene. Fast forward to New Year's 2000, we're back home in Wyoming. We're out with some friends. Also, I was used to drinking German beer, lots of German beer. And I came back here and was drinking Coors Light or something. So not beer, really. And I wasn't feeling a thing. I was like 6 deep, nothing, no buzz, no effects whatsoever. And we're sitting there and I hear last call. And I turned to my buddy and asked him, what is last call? Last call for what? And he just started laughing. He's like, well, last call for alcohol. If you want another drink, you better order one because they're shutting down. And I looked at my watch and it was like 1:30 in the morning. And I thought, well, that's dumb. Like, it's New Year's and they're shutting down at 1:30 and it's last call, and I don't even have a buzz going yet. I was so disappointed. We ended up going to, I think, back to his place and finishing, but first time I ever heard last call, didn't have a clue what it meant.
What I call a pub, the Germans call a Kneiper. There's a bit of debate between what makes a pub and a bar, but a Kneiper is generally more traditional.
Bars can be a bit fancier. There are also plenty of specialized bars, especially here in Berlin.
The selection varies according to taste and the crowd it attracts. There are lots of cocktail bars, student pubs, sports bars, gay bars, mostly just hangout places for people to talk and drink.
But what's the most popular drink of choice here in Germany? I'll give you one guess. And if you didn't guess beer, I'm disappointed. Depending on where you are in Germany, the kind of beer you drink and what glass it comes in also varies.
The legal age for drinking beer and wine, and sparkling wine or champagne, is 16. For stronger spirits, it's 18. So you only have to be 16 to get into a Kneiper. But you should eat beforehand, since the only food many pubs serve is a few snacks. And don't forget to tip. 5 to 10% is pub standard. Important.
Okay, real quick, Kneipe. So what is the difference between that and a pub, or is that just the German word for pub? I know that bars, like she said, there's many different types of bars. There's even cigar bars and things like that. But is Kneipe just the German word for pub? Because I usually associate pub with like an Irish pub. But there obviously can be many others. Another thing of note that I didn't realize until living in Germany is the different glasses that your beer would come in. Like depending on what you ordered, if you ordered a Weizen, it came in a Weizen glass. If you order a Pils, it comes in a Pilsner glass. I know that for cocktails, you know, you have an old fashioned, you have a martini glass, you have a wine glass. I didn't realize that beers would have a different glass. Usually because here in the US, you're just drinking straight out of the bottle or the can and not pouring it into a glass. That was the first time I really knew that the proper way to drink is out of glass. And that's the way I prefer it. Although here, I do drink out of the beer bottle a lot of times, but you know, I'll very frequently pour it into a glass. So that's something else that was a little bit different for me, is just knowing that you're going to get a different glass depending on what type of beer that you order.
Forget to tip. 5 to 10% is pub standard. Important info if you smoke. In Germany, there's a strict ban on smoking in bars and pubs. But nevertheless, there are exceptions, especially in Berlin.
And that's something I think is relatively new, right? I know back when I was first stationed in Germany, you could smoke in the pub. But nowadays, I think most of them in a lot of places are no smoking. They might have a smoking area outside, or you can smoke outside, but just not indoors.
It's vocab time. Here are the German phrases you need to know when you're going out in Germany. Stammkneipe. This is your local pub. Anschreiben. To take something on credit, like an IOU, but this is only possible in your Stammkneipe when they can trust that you'll pay it back. Vom Fass. From the barrel. This is beer on tap.
So, I'm pausing a lot in this. I'm sorry. It's just bringing back memories of my time stationed in Germany. The local Irish pub in Baumholde, Lorraine was the bartender. Short little girl, Irish, through and through, just a ball of fire. But she wouldn't write any orders down. If she could take an entire order of like a group of 15 people, bring all the drinks out that were correct, give them to the correct people, and keep a tab on every single one of them. I witnessed firsthand people trying to skate out because they thought that, you know, she didn't write anything down. She doesn't know how much I drank. She doesn't know my tab. And she would literally grab them by the back of the shirt, pull them back in and tell them, you owe me, you know, however much money. And the look on her face was just priceless. So she was really good at it. I know that even here in places, unless it's called a tab, you want to leave it open, you give them your credit card, they keep the card, they put your name down, and then at the end when you're ready to settle, they'll just add everything up, put it on the card. Here in Germany, I always paid with cash anyway, so I don't know if they do that, if they hold your card. Let me know down in the comments if you're using a bank card or a credit card, do they keep it at the beginning and then just tally it up at the end, or how does that work? I know a lot of places will put little tick marks on a beer coaster on how many you've had, but I don't know how they would keep track if you were having different types of drinks.
German pub culture may have changed, but Distiller here has remained the same for almost 150 years. Let's ask the owner what makes a Kneiper a Kneiper.
This is Uwe Drees, barkeeper and owner of Distiller Berlin.
Kneipe means it's simple. You don't have to dress properly. You can come straight from work, so you don't have to change. Even when your clothes are dirty, you're welcome, it's okay. Everybody is welcome. It doesn't matter what kind of color their skin is, what kind of religion they have, where they come from. A good German pub should feel like home. This is very important for them, to meet people. They come here to talk. We do entertain our regulars, our customers, and we have a lot of fun here.
Do you have any stories? I'm sure people tell you a lot of their secrets.
We used to have a couple, then they met here, and at the end they had their wedding here.
Wow, that's
Yes, that was nice. That was really nice. We still have contact to them. I know a lot of private stories of most of our customers, but a good barman knows everything, don't tell anything, like a therapist, but not as paid as a therapist.
Okay, so a Kneipe is more of your hometown type deal where, like you said, you can go in looking any which way. Another big difference that I noticed over there compared to over here is if you're going out for the night, that's a big thing. That's, unless you're going to a Kneipe like after work or meeting some friends down there or whatever, but if you're going out, that's a process in itself. I remember we would get off work, let's say on a Friday, and take a nap because you didn't even think about going out before 10 p.m. And then you dress up, you take a shower before you go out. You're not dressing like black tie affair, but nice pants, nice shirt, no tennis shoes, no ball caps, because a lot of those places, the bigger places, don't allow that. And moving from there to here, or going out here after being in Germany for so long, my wife and I would get ready to go out. If we were going out with friends, going to meet at a bar, whatever, didn't matter if it was a little country bar in my hometown or like the only dance place was at a Holiday Inn, which is just kind of sounds silly. But we would dress up. We would put on nice clothes, tennis shoes and a ball cap and stuff, but not like our work clothes. And we'd go out and we'd look at these people and like, did you just come straight from the coal mine? Like you're filthy. I didn't get it. I was so used to doing it, in Germany, and then here in the U.S. it was so different. My wife and I actually met. His story about the couple that met and then got married there. We met at the Irish pub in Baumholder. And then that's where I proposed to her. Unfortunately, that pub is no longer there. It's been leveled. There's like a little cobblestone sitting area, I guess. I did a video I'm still trying to put together from our last trip over there. But we met at that pub and that's where I proposed to. And it's too bad that it's not there anymore because I'd love to go back and have a few drinks at the place where we met so many years ago.
Inns have been around for many centuries, but Kneipen or pubs started playing a major role in Germany in the context of industrialization in the 19th century. As a social space to escape from the daily grind, as well as a place to get together with friends. While they used to be a place for men to discuss jobs and politics, German pubs also developed in the 20th century as a gathering place for students, artists, queer people, and so on. The great variety of pubs keeps evolving, including typical pub drags, such as Düsseldorf's longest bar in the world, a street with the most bars in a row.
How
pubs are an integral part of society here, partly because they are the perfect location for the Feierabend beer, aka the let's celebrate the end of the working day beer. Germans are all about the work hard, play hard ethic.
Pub culture is very important to Germany because alcohol is very important to Germany.
This is historian Dr. Hanno Hochmuth.
And they do not only drink privately at home, but also publicly at public spaces. And the pub, it actually is the name, is the public place to drink.
Fun fact, since alcohol is so cheap in Germany, there's a law nicknamed the apple juice paragraph. It states that there must be at least one non-alcoholic drink that is no more expensive than the cheapest alcoholic drink. Pub culture in Germany has changed in recent decades. The term Kneipensterben, pub death, has come up. What's that about?
I think it's very interesting that, well, pub came from public place to drink, but the apple juice paragraph law, I love it. You have to have at least one non-alcoholic drink, no more expensive than the cheapest alcoholic drink, because obviously not everybody that goes out to a pub is going to be drinking, especially if they're driving anywhere, or, you know, they just may not drink, so they need to have the same kind of option, I guess, for the same amount of price. Makes perfect sense.
In the early times of the 20th century, the traditional German Kneiper pub was predominant, whereas today it diversified a lot. Other new pubs, other new bars pop up, so there's no Kneipensterben, but rather a change of style.
Kneipen culture is honestly one of my favorite things about Germany, especially here in Berlin. Whether I'm hanging out at my Stammkneipe or enjoying a really nice cocktail, it's just good vibes all round. What's it like in your country? Let us know in the comments.
Well, I really enjoyed that little video. It was quick, short, to the point. I learned some things. And her final question, what's it like in my country? It depends on where you live. Obviously, if you are in New York City or San Francisco or LA or any large city in between, it's going to be a different scene than if you're in Sheridan, Wyoming, where I grew up, and you have 6 or 8 country bars, and country's not my thing, so I wouldn't frequent those. It's just not my scene. Now, granted, it's not just full of cowboys, but it's a country theme, country music. No. Here in Phoenix, unfortunately, where we live outside of Phoenix, it's quite the drive to go to anywhere. So you're either catching a Lyft or Uber, or just not drinking much when you go out, or finding a hotel near where you're going to go out. But my favorite place right now is just the Meadery. I'm sure you guys know that by now, and if not, you will. I love mead. I actually prefer mead over many beers, and you get so many different flavors. They're really cool owners. I happen to play D&D there every Tuesday night. I'm part of their fellowship program, so I get to help choose the flavors every quarter. We get a couple free bottles every quarter. It's really cool. It's really homey. That's what I like. But moving back to Germany, I can't wait. Wherever we are, wherever we end up, I gotta find a local Kneipe, because I just feel like they're so, what's the word? They're just so comfy. You know what I mean? Like, you feel like you belong there. They aren't looking at you sideways. Granted, if you're brand new, they might, glance your direction because they don't know who you are, but you're in there enough, they'll get to know who you are. They're more than welcoming, to anybody. But that's what I'm really looking forward to when we move back to Germany. So I really enjoyed that one. If you did, please leave me a comment down below. Do you have a favorite Kneipe or pub or bar in your area? And if you do and we happen to be in the same area, let me know. I'd be more than happy to meet you down there for a drink or two. So I enjoyed that. Hopefully you did too. If you enjoy this type of content, please hit that subscribe button. And until next time, I'll catch you later. Bye.